Good afternoon. 1 minute. Good afternoon. I welcome one and all for 80th episode of Creactive. Creactive is a group of like-minded people who are eager to gain new knowledge. Cre means creativity, active means activeness. To be active, we need creativity thinking. Knowledge Square is our tagline. Sharing of knowledge increases our knowledge. Vision of Creactive to build constructive thinking on various domains. We focus mainly on non-textual, non-academic, non-syllabus related concepts. Creactive is a platform to the resource person to present their discoveries, experimental results, reviews, and many more with the interested audience. Every Saturday, we organize online talks on Zoom platform around 3 to 4 p.m. And also we live streaming our program on our YouTube channel, Creactive GBD. Creactive, thankful to all our resource person for sharing their knowledge with us. Science communication. It is a practice of informing, educating, raising awareness of science related topics and increases the sense of wonder about scientific discoveries and arguments. Science communication generates support for scientific research, education, and informed decision making. And it acts like an intermediate between the individual to public policies. So I call today's speaker. Today's creative topic is science communication, expression, and dimension. To present this, we have Srimati Kshama V. Bhanuprakash ma'am with us today. I call Sai Madhuri to introduce today's speaker, who is creative volunteer. Over to Sai Madhuri.
Thank you, ma'am. Science is a process that takes us from confusion to understanding. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's 80th episode is about science communication, expressions, and dimension. To present this talk, we have Ms. Kshama V. Bhanuprakash, science writer, educator, Vidya Shilpa Academy, Bangalore. Kshama ma'am is a author of science books in Kannada. ಪ್ರತಿಜೀವಿಗಳ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ, ದೇಹದೇಗುಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಯಜೀವಿಗಳು ಅಂಡ್ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಲೋಕದ ಜ್ಞಾನಕುಸುಮಗಳು are the writings of Kshama ma'am. Ma'am is a script writer for All India Radio, science-based radio serials in Kannada, and one of the script writer and presenters as a part of Nitya Vignana at All India Radio. Ma'am has been Kannada editor at Research Matters for 3 years. Ma'am translated number of science articles for Azim Premji University and Gubbay Labs. 500 plus science articles are published in leading Kannada daily and monthly magazines. Kshama ma'am is also a science educator, voice-over artist, theatre artist, and a singer. This is a brief introduction about today's resource person. It's our pleasure to have Ms. Kshama V. Bhanuprakash today in our 80th episode. On behalf of all the participants and creative volunteers, I welcome you, ma'am. Thank you. Over to Supriya, ma'am.
Thank you, Sai Madhuri. Over to ma'am.
Thank you so much, Supriya ma'am and Sai Madhuri. That was very sweet, very kind of you to introduce me with so much of information about me. All right, I think we'll be starting with today's topic, which is very interesting as well as the need of the hour, I must say. As social animal, as human beings, we all, it's a natural instinct for all of us to express ourselves. We all express ourselves probably by talking or by non-verbal communication or by probably through music, through various medium that is comfortable to us. But expressing or communicating about science, okay, that's the need of the hour. And why is it so? And expressions regarding science, what all dimensions could it have? And if you have to become a science communicator, what all preparations you will have to go with? All these we will be discussing today. Before we start, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to Creactive. So I would definitely express my gratitude. I'll be sharing a screen. Please let me know if it's visible. If
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
visible. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. So to begin with, just a second. Okay, do you see the second slide now? Is it visible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So this is a very famous image most of you might have seen, especially people who are interested in science and science communication. If you have joined this, I'm sure you might have, come across this picture. This very clearly tells you what science communication is in general. Science communication is basically telling what the scientists have done in a lab, or what they have experimented with, or what is their discovery or invention in simpler terms to laymen. Okay, communicating that, conveying that. If that doesn't happen, this is how it's going to be. If scientists are talking about apples, laymen understand it as oranges, right? That's because of so many complications and so many terminologies, and there are a lot of important concepts in various fields of science, which is not easily understandable for laymen. So we science communicators, we have to bridge the gap. We have to first understand what's going on in the science community and bring it in a simpler version to the layman. And if we don't do that effectively, this is how it's going to be. Scientists talk about apples and the public understand it as oranges. Okay, so here is another very famous image. I'm sure most of you have watched this movie. I think instead of asking who's watched this movie, I think I should ask who hasn't watched it. Okay, it's a very famous movie, a very famous image. We are all proud of this movie, I'm sure. So now, what is the connection between this and the previous image? Okay, the connection is here. We can learn something that's very similar from both of these images. Now, what is that? Be it science communication or be it a movie which is, so very famous across the globe, it all starts with a one liner. Okay, so there's one idea, a small idea that starts in the mind of a person, or it could be just a small discovery made in one part of the world. But how to write about it, how to build a story, right? It all starts with a one liner first, a topic, an idea. All right. And after that, you will have to build a story around it, a story which is interesting for people so that they would like to read it or they would like to watch it. Right. So, be it about science or not, since we're talking about science today, yes, we'll believe that, yes, that tiny idea that came up in your mind, or the tiny little discovery or invention that happened in one corner of the world, you start talking about that. Okay, taking it as one topic and start building a story around it. Building a story around it need not be this is not fiction that we are talking about, right? There is a very a strong idea or a strong discovery or some information that is available in front of you, but to make it interesting, you can always build a story around it. Now when you do that, it'll be best suited if you go with an interdisciplinary approach, meaning you bring in various aspects to it. If you're talking about, for example, water or a river, then you can talk about songs which are related to river. You can talk about stories which are published related to a river. You can talk about the geography related to the river, right? So interdisciplinary approach matters a lot. So after that, you have to bring in many dimensions. To bring in many dimensions, you will have to use different media which is around you. Okay, you can again bring in poetry, you can bring in art, right? All these as a part of the story. Now, but when you're doing that, do not lose focus on the core topic. Okay, you will have to ensure you touch the core topic in every single paragraph that you're writing or about which you're talking. Every single paragraph should definitely be focused on the main core topic, but to make it interesting, to make it reach people who may not be studying science or who may not have studied science in their school or college days. So how do you make it interesting for them? That's very, very important. So when you bring in interdisciplinary approach and when you bring in many dimensions to it, definitely it's going to be interesting and readable or watchable. But once your storyline is ready, you shouldn't just go about and publish it. You should always edit. Be it the movie that we just were talking about, that is Kantara, right? So before, or any science story or any story that's published in your newspapers or magazines, anything that always undergoes editing. Okay, be it a movie or a story. So editing is very important. That's when you read through it twice, thrice, and ensure all the important concepts, all the important aspects are covered. Okay, and you also check whether there are any inclusions which are not to be there. Can we do without them, or is it better to include anything more, right? So all these on all these lines, you will have to read through your article or your story, and you should also think about the reach. Okay, how does it reach many people? Because ultimately communication is effective only when it is reaching people, right? So that's when you are done with your job. If you start with a task, it has to have a proper ending as well. So you have started with a story, only when it reaches the audience, it is complete. Your journey through it is complete. So the reach has to be very well planned about, and you should ensure before you even start working on the story that what are the medium, what are the ways through which you will reach people through it, and ensure you're relevant. If you're talking about a story or a science concept related to children, or you want to reach children, ensure you're relevant. Ensure you use examples which are reachable to students. So all these are few important lessons that we can learn from these two pictures that we just saw. And how do we communicate science? Be it writing or be it a video or a blog or vlog, whatever you talk about, you always need preparation. Okay, so preparation generally goes like this: RWR, I say it. It's not RRR, mind you. It's read, write, repeat. Okay, so you read about it, you read about the topic or the idea that's in your mind, maybe online, or you can go to a library, or you have various means available in your phone right now. You don't have to go anywhere. In your palm, you have your phone, where you have the smartphone. It's your library as well. And reading is not just reading, it's also, you may watch videos related to it, you may listen to podcasts related to it. So you read, learn about it, and then write, and then repeat. So you keep doing this in a loop, you're ready for your presentation. Okay, so first step is preparation, and then is your presentation. So now let's see what are the resources available for preparation as well as presentation. So for preparation, firstly, you have to choose a topic, right? You want to communicate science, you want to write about something. To begin with, you need a topic, obviously, and for that, curiosity is very important. If you want to instill curiosity or instigate curiosity in someone, you should have that first in you. If you're curious about the world around you, then you're ready. You can start with step one, right? There should be curiosity. The topic also should be such that it builds in curiosity. Also, it should have some importance. Just because things are curious, you can't go about talking about it, right? So it also has to have some importance to the general public. It should be relevant to your audience. Okay, so something that instills curiosity, something that's important as well as relevant, such a topic has to be chosen. For that, to choose a topic, you have a lot of resources available. As I've already mentioned, you have books, you have internet, you have anyone around you. They might be asking you a few questions. For example, why is sky blue? Or why are not all butterflies the same? Or you have many such questions. Kids at home keep asking these kind of questions. So not always adults know answer for these kind of questions. So you should be focusing probably also to such kind of questions around you, and pick up topics from there and start researching about them and start writing or making videos about them. Also, your teachers or your professors, your family members, all of them in one or the other way may lead you into a topic and you may take it forward. And there are already a lot of resources available, be it in regional language, be it in Kannada or in English or in various other languages across the world. In the slide, you may see a few pictures here, like the magazines Science or National Geographic, or you can also see a few Kannada science magazines here, like Kutuhali or Sutra or Kanana or Bala Vignana, which has decades of history, right? All these could be the resources to choose a topic, also to read about it, learn about it, understand. And once you have chosen the topic, you have to start learning more about it. Only if you are aware of what you are writing, you can convey it better, right? So you should first know what that is, and then you can pass it on to general audience. So again, collecting information can go on with the help of research papers which are already published. A lot of scientists across the world are involved in research, and they are publishing their papers which are very informative and interesting. We can use that to collect information to understand things better. We also have science articles published in newspapers and magazines. Also, we have podcasts, documentaries, interviews, and videos which are available related to your topic. You may obviously go and search. Here are a list of a few places where you can find relevant as well as authentic information. For example, Research Matters or Jana Suddhi or Nitya Vignana, researchgate.net, online library or the Habitat or Science Friday, eKannada.Karnataka. This is a Karnataka government website where you, of course, have a lot of information about science in Kannada. So I'll try to open one of these links and show it. Let me know if it's visible to you. Okay, is Research Matters page visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. So here, as you can see, amazing articles are published. This is again about a lot of research that's going on in our own Indian Institute of Science or even across the globe. See, now this is an example. This is related to bacterial gene sequences, and you have a lot of information available, not just in the form of articles, also in the form of PsyQs and various. You can see there are stories, there are podcasts. So like this, there are various websites available. Research Matters is one such website where you get authentic information. I'll show you probably a few other slides. Please give me a minute. I'll go back to the presentation. Okay. So that was one example. I'll be showing you another example, which is ekannada.karnataka.gov, where you, of course, have information about a lot of other topics as well. Please confirm if the page is visible.
Visible, ma'am.
Thank you. So here we have, as you can see, Gnana Kosha, which is, again, you see, it's very, very interesting. You have it from Kannada and Samskriti Ilake. You have it. You have information about a lot of topics. Yes, along with that, science as well. Also, you have a dictionary which can be used here, especially when we write or talk about science communication. People ask us, how do you get equivalent words related to sciences? For example, especially, see, I'm a science writer in Kannada. So I'll be needing a lot of technological or terminology that is related to science and technology in Kannada. So for such information, I may always use these kind of websites where you have, it could be Kanaja or it could be Gnana Vignana Kosha. There are various websites where you get information on terminology, various science terminology in Kannada or any regional language for that matter. Now that's few websites. Now, you also, I'm sure, would have heard about Neil deGrasse Tyson, the Star Talk. I'm sure all of you are familiar with that. So that's where you get a lot of information about astronomy and various interesting topics in science. So all these could be helping us to understand about various interesting topics in sciences. Okay, and now as a part of first step, that is preparation, firstly you came up with a topic, then you learned where to collect information about. And once you're done with that, you will have to store the information somewhere, save the information somewhere, right? Yes, of course, you can always use a paper and a book or a pen, and you can always go with the our very old method. You may always write down. But when you are researching online, it's always helpful if you can use apps like these. So here are a few examples of the best note-taking apps. It could be Microsoft OneNote or Evernote or Apple Notes or Google Keep or Notion or Obsidian. There are various such apps which you may use to save and sort the information according to your requirements. You may always bookmark them. And digital notes are very important, especially if you are writing blogs or publishing online. This will come handy. So as a part of step one, which is preparation, we are done with figuring out the topic, collecting information, and coming up with how to save it or sort it. Now, before we go to step two, you will have to be sure that the information that you have is authentic. If it's not authentic, you will be a spreader of fake news or false information, which is wrong, which definitely, as a science communicator, you should not be doing. So, how do you evaluate authenticity? You may always use Google fact check tools, or you also have, there's a video here. I would like to play that for you. Please watch. This will be telling you more about how to evaluate authenticity.
We can't hear the audio.
Oh, is the audio not clear? Let me play it again for you. Please wait.
No, ma'am.
Please give me a minute. Please tell me if it's not audible now.
No, ma'am.
If you
Ma'am,
want to succeed at your assignments
coming,
or
ma'am.
research,
Audible.
Thank you.
only use quality information, whether it's found in books, journal articles, or websites. Use the following criteria, also known as the CRAP test, to critically evaluate any source of information. Currency. When was the information published, updated, and/or revised? Is the information out of date for the topic? Relevance, or intended audience. How much information is presented? Does it provide a superficial treatment or a detailed analysis? Is the information related and relevant to your topic? Is the readership level appropriate, neither too simple nor too sophisticated? Authority. Not all books or journal articles in an academic library are scholarly. Who are the authors and/or editors, and what are their credentials? For journals, are articles peer-reviewed? That is, do they have the approval of other experts in the field? For books, are they published by scholarly presses, popular presses, or self-published? Accuracy and verifiability. Does the source match your understanding of the topic? Can you verify the claims in other sources? Never rely on just one source. Is there a bibliography or list of works cited? What types of sources and how many relevant sources are cited? This is an indication of the depth of the author's knowledge. Purpose and objectivity. Is the purpose stated? Is the subject approached from an objective standpoint? If not, what is the author's bias and how might it influence the information presented? Be wary, there may be more than one perspective on any given issue. Using these criteria, currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose, to critically evaluate sources of information will help ensure that you're only using quality sources of information. If you need more help with evaluating
I hope that gave in some perspective about how you will have to analyze and authenticate information before you go about your article. There's more to it. There are various other websites where you can always go and check, and also you can always go and read about it in different websites or books which are having opposite views, which are not belonging to the same wing, and that's when you will get perspectives from different kind of people about it, and probably in between lies the truth. So understand more about it, learn more about it, and I'm sure you may use Google fact check tools as well. I will be sharing the screen again with you. Yeah, so you may use news initiative with google.com. I'll just yeah, so Google fact check tools are very handy, they're very useful. That's gonna help you with figuring out whether the information that you have is authentic or not. Now, having said that, okay, so you have checked multiple times or through various ways that you know that the information that you have is authentic. All right. So what next? Now you have collected information, you have checked that the information is right. So how do you go about the next part? So now we come to step 2, which is presentation. Now for presentation, the resources definitely depends on your audience and also which medium of communication you are very comfortable with. So audience could be school-going students, college students, or common public, or professors or scientists that you are talking to. So based on that, the depth of the information, the article has to be decided, and the way you communicate, the way you begin a story, the catchy title, or the way you end a story, all these depends on the audience and the medium of communication, of course. So if it is that is, if you're making a video on the science, a particular topic, then you will have to be focused on who is that you're interviewing, or what kind of topic you're talking about, and what all pictures or video bits that you can include to make it interesting and make it reach more people. Whereas if it's on contrary, if it is radio or podcast that you are going through, so you will have to ensure that it is very interesting to ensure the audience stay there, right? So when you're watching something, you will stay longer. Your attention span is more than when you're listening to a podcast or an interview. So you should ensure you make it more interesting when your medium of communication is audio, or it could be Anchor by Spotify, or it could be Audible, or iRadio, or any FM or AIR. Any of these, you should ensure it's very interesting so that people get hooked onto it and listen to it. That's when you succeed as a science communicator. Now okay, so now you have decided what kind of audience you're approaching and what is your the best medium of communication through which you're comfortably expressing science. Now once that is done, you may also rethink. You may also you need not always go by writing an article. You need not always go by making videos or talking over radio or any audio medium. So a picture can also be very effective. A picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So you have two examples here where when you look at the picture, you will remember the picture first, right? So that is going to retain the information, retain the science part of it. Instead of reading a long article, a small picture would do the needful. But again, there are a set of people who would enjoy reading. There are a set of people who would enjoy watching videos and learn about science. There are few people who prefer listening to podcasts. So you have different kinds of audiences. So as I told you previously, depending on who your audience is, you may always choose the medium of communication. So, and of course, you also have social media. Social media is not just for fun, it's also for facts. So you may always use Insta, Facebook, or Twitter, or Snapchat, all these, including WhatsApp, to share information about science. So as you can see, if there are few Instagram accounts, which are, of course, there are hundreds of them, but few of them are listed here. It could be Science Museum or NASA or National Geographic or ASAP Science or few of these, which are very interesting. You may check them out, and I'm sure you will get hooked on to the information that's shared there and the way it is presented. Okay, so you may not just avail information from there, you may also learn a thing or two about how to express, how to communicate about science through these medium. You may always have, create an account or create a page on Facebook or Insta or Snapchat or Twitter where you can express yourselves, communicate science very effectively, because almost every single person, so out of every 5 people, you have 4 of them on these social media platforms. So you may reach all of them very, very easily, just with the help of a phone, a smartphone in your hand. And I'm sure you know very well, you may use reels or shorts or posts, and stories can be created regarding sciences, and you can make them very interesting depending on your audience. And the views and the likes and comments would tell you more about the engagement, the people, how they are liking or not liking your the way of science communication. And you may always take a feedback or two to get better, or if you're doing great, you can continue. And there are few pages which are listed out here, Facebook pages, where we are also talking about what kind of topics are generally covered. So health and medicines, these are the top favorites, though they won't be talking about probably the discoveries and inventions in detail, but about health tips. Health tips are very famous, be it YouTube or Facebook or any of these apps, especially WhatsApp University, if you've heard of, I'm sure. So you will, I'm sure, be a part of a lot of groups on WhatsApp, and you will be getting health tips. And how true or false that is, that's secondary, but there's a lot of information available there. So you should be able to separate the fake news, classify the fake news from the fact, and you should ensure you grasp only onto the facts and go ahead communicating sciences. Then blogs and vlogs are also very famous in among the youth now. So since I have a lot of students here, I'm sure I want to focus on vlogs as well. Blogs are not read by many, is what my students told me, but vlogs are generally loved. And the recent research tells us that we human beings, now our attention span has gone so down that it's lesser than a goldfish. Okay, so our attention span is only about 7 seconds. If you don't catch the attention of your audience within the first 7 seconds, then the chances of them going through your content further is very less. Okay, so you will have to, that's why, focus on a catchy title or a very interesting thumbnail in your vlog, or a very catchy title in your blog or in your article, so that people start to read or start to watch your video. And if the content is strong and interesting, I'm sure people will take it further. So we have a few examples here. So Science Speaks could be one of the blogs which are very interesting. As you can see, you also have videos related to it. You have a lot of topics covered. Also, science blogs. They talk about COVID, they talk about climate change, genetically rescued organisms, something very interesting to read about. So there are various interesting articles, which after the session, I'm sure at least few of you will go back and check. So that's very, very interesting. So these vlogs and blogs can also give you an idea about how to present, or it could also provide you a medium through which you can present your article or your blog. And we have few vlogs here.
Hi.
Hola.
Hi.
Merhaba.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Bonjour tout le monde.
What up, everybody?
Hi.
Meanwhile, these are all the various scientists who are involved in vlogging to make sure science reaches common man in a very interesting perspective. They're bringing in a lot of dimensions to their expressions here.
Everyone.
Hi,
Samantha Davis. I am a coral reef ecologist.
my name's Caitlin Bowman, and I'm a chemical oceanographer.
I'm Kelly Spear, and I'm a mammologist and a parasitologist.
I'm Mike Gill, and I am a marine biologist.
I'm actually, right now, in the field studying sea turtles.
So that just gave in a glimpse about how these scientists live their lives and what all they have a series of vlog which is very interesting. I think you should all go back and check out. There's another example here to show you how vlog and science communication through a vlog looks like.
We rely on artificial intelligence every day, but do we know how it actually works? Can it be creative?
How do you perform music physically that was composed by an entity which has no body?
Could it help save endangered species?
We have more than 1 million recordings. That's enough to start to be able to train this computer how to identify bird sounds.
And will it help uncover the mysteries of the universe?
So these vlogs, not just they tell you about how to go about presenting, they also give tips about how to start vlogging. For example, as you saw, those were trailers. The both vlogs that you saw, they were trailers of the other vlogs, the other video content that's available there. So they always start with questions. Okay, they leave you with questions, and that's the best way of communicating science, I believe. Letting you explore a lot of questions by yourselves. And when you start exploring, trying to figure out the answers for few questions, you end up with more questions. And that's how it is. Science goes on. You start learning and you start expressing. So that's the best part of sciences. And you may as well. These were few examples, but before you think of, do we need a very fancy camera or a microphone, or what all setup would we need to start vlogging? Let me reassure you, a lot of these vloggers, a lot of these professional vloggers also use just a smartphone. Okay, they have confirmed about it. A lot of them have openly expressed this in their interviews, telling you just a phone, just the phone is very, very important part in your life. It can help you figure out what topic you can start communicating about. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So sorry about the interruption there. So blogs and vlogs are another medium of expression, as I told you. And the phone that probably you have logged in with now, or the laptop that you have, that's more than enough to go about a vlog, to start a vlog and communicate about sciences. Okay, so we can also use memes. Memes are very famous among young. They are meme creators here. I'm sure a few of you, those who have joined in. So I want you to go through this, just have a look at this slide for a minute, please. Isn't it very interesting? So when we say science, those who love science, I'm sure they will be interested in science communication. Those who don't, those who feel science is very difficult for us, it's not, it's not our cup of tea. So for people like them, how do you communicate science? You may always use a very interesting media like memes. You may create memes and share them on social media, but related to sciences. And you can communicate science very effectively. As you can see, the first meme here, using behavioral science to explain memes. No. Using memes to explain behavioral sciences. Yes. So that's how, people, they enjoy memes, I'm sure. Is there anyone who don't enjoy memes is the question I should ask, because that's when maybe one or two hands go up probably, but most of us do enjoy. The second one here, we all say, plant more trees, and you start cutting trees. It's very difficult because we won't be having enough oxygen on the planet. But yeah, that is true. But beyond that, you have a lot of algae. Okay. A lot of marine algae, they produce a lot of oxygen, about 60% of oxygen that we all need. That's taken care by algae. So that information is very effectively communicated through this second meme here. And the third one, where I'm sure, can anyone identify the women scientists there in the third meme? Please feel free to unmute and answer.
Marie Curie.
That's right. So that's Marie Curie. So what's she talking about here? Is she one of the very few scientists who have got 2 Nobel Prizes?
Nobel Prizes.
Exactly. So is 2 a lot is the question here. And what is she talking about if that's the question in your mind? And look at the answer there. If it's dollars or if it's any commodity, then maybe no. But then Nobel Prizes? Yes, 2 is a lot. So that's how you tend to tell people about Marie Curie and how she's been awarded twice for her research, once in physics and once in chemistry. So you may always convey such information through memes. And this is not just fun content that goes on Insta or Facebook. If you can see, there was a meme contest that was conducted by Institute of Astrophysics, right? So this is how you also communicate science through various interesting platforms to youth, especially. But whatever medium you choose, you should ensure these indicators are taken care of. You should look for these indicators. Ensure that your article or your scientific content is scientific. Okay, your content, it should not just have here and there a little bit about the science fact, and the storyline should be anything other than science. No, absolutely not. It should be basically scientific, factual, balanced, and transparent. Okay, so balanced is very important. You should not be going about any agenda, or you should not be going about sharing your own opinions or your own beliefs more than the science fact. Also, your presentation, the style should be clear. It should be coherent and contextual. It should be understandable to all kind of people who are reading or going through your content. It should be spellbinding. It should be interacting with audience. It should be connecting. Only when you connect with the audience is when you will be an effective science communicator. So, and once you connect, is it relatable? Is it responsible? Is it impactful? And is it purposeful? Is it targeting the audience? Right? So you will have to ensure you think about all this. You ensure your article or your video or your blog content is basically ensuring these quality indicators are taken care of, and then you can definitely be a successful scientific communicator. Ensure you are giving more weightage to the fact than your opinion. Okay, yes, you can bring in your opinions to bring in relatability, but ensure you state it as it's your opinion. Okay, fact should always be highlighted, opinion always should be the underline. And well, otherwise, if you don't ensure these quality indicators are taken care of, then this is what happens. Just a second, I'll be playing this video for you. Please excuse me, I need a minute to share the document. Sorry, the video is not being played. Give me a minute, please. Okay, I basically wanted to tell you all that if we don't ensure those indicators are taken care of, if you don't ensure that your article or your blog is connected to people, is relevant, is useful, then this is what exactly happens. Please confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I hope you remember what we started with here. So when you started watching the video, the actions that were done weren't exactly what was communicated towards the end. So if we don't communicate it effectively, if we don't ensure we follow the steps and we ensure those indicators are taken care of, then otherwise this is what is going to happen, and we will be back to square one. So science, the scientific community or the scientists, the researchers, they will be talking about apples, and the layman would be understanding it as oranges. So if we are not communicating effectively, we will still not be ensuring the needful. So who can change it? Who will bridge the gap? It is us who are science communicators. So if you, the students whom I'm talking to now, I'm sure you are here because you are interested in science as well as science communication. So this, even as taking up as a career, if you want to choose it as a career option, you can also learn about it in various universities now. There are courses related to communication and science communication through different media. And even otherwise, if you are not professionally learning or going through those courses, you may always, out of your own interest, start writing about, start making videos about, or start creating memes about science. And before you do that, please remember all the steps that you will have to follow and ensure it is authentic and it is relatable to people. So by doing that, as a science communicator, you can always bridge the gap between the scientific community as well as laymen or common people. So by keeping it simple, by keeping it factual and interesting, by bringing science and people closer, you may also ensure you can influence policy making. And that will ensure we all have a better world. for us as well as the future generation. So only you can make it happen by following all the steps that we just discussed. So having said that, I would really like to thank Creactive and all of you who joined in for this opportunity. Now we are open for questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We can go for questions. Any questions? You can raise your hand and or you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. Srinath sir.
Madam, it was a nice talk. Actually, once upon a time, science communication was only a government job. I mean, government's enterprise. Nowadays, we are seeing a lot of private players are also doing a good job. In that direction, what is your view?
Thank you, sir. I would definitely appreciate that, be it a private or a government organization or individuals for that matter, whoever's interested in science, whoever's interested in communicating what they have understood to the world should definitely give a try. And there's no, we don't have to have experience or, you don't have to exactly learn it in a university. You can always try out. There is a writer probably in a lot of you who's, attending this, or everyone has their own way of expressing, right? It could be just making poetry about sciences. It could be making a video. So through any of these, every single person out there who has basic understanding of sciences can go ahead and become a science communicator.
No, there is an element of what you call as a profit, even in science communication. I mean, see, we learned from G.T. Narayan Rao how to watch sky free of cost. Today in Bangalore, so many people are doing 300 rupees register. We will show you Arundhati Nakshatra. So many things are happening.
Yeah.
In that direction, I mean, what you call ethics. When you are doing science communication, making money also, how is it good or bad, or it is worth that direction, some views.
Okay, so ultimately now, it's all about what you focus in life. There are all kinds of people. And for example, if you take up WhatsApp University, right? So there you have groups which are exclusively made for science communication. And there are people who are discussing facts all the time. And there are people who are spreading fake news as well. And there are people who try to make money in everything that they know. And there are people who are living only for serving the world. So I definitely feel that's not right, 300 or 400 or thousands or whatever. Science should belong to everyone. So people who are well versed with the concepts, or people who kind of, you can call them, they belong to scientific community. They should, I think, definitely be thinking about communicating science free of cost to people, to laymen or children. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Madhuri?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Sai Madhuri. I have a question, ma'am.
Yes, dear, tell me.
Which will be more effective, ma'am? In which language, if you communicate science, it will be more effective, ma'am? Which language you prefer? Is it your mother tongue or else English?
Okay, so the best thing that you can do is the language that you are very comfortable in. Generally, most of us are very comfortable in our mother tongues, right? So for example, I am very comfortable expressing myself in Kannada. So I started writing about science in Kannada because these two are my favorite fields. One is Kannada and one is science. So I tried to merge them together and I enjoy every bit of it, writing about it. And I can be more expressive, and probably the examples that I bring in, they are more relevant to people around me, people of Karnataka, because the examples, it could be, one could be examples. Also, sometimes, if you have heard of the articles, or the Nitya Vignana is one which, where I read out in All India Radio. So the topics, the titles are basically based on a lot of Kannada songs. Okay, so I know them, so I can express through those. So it's always best that you go ahead with the language that you're comfortable in, and mostly it is mother tongue to most of us. But if you're comfortable in English or any other language, you may always go ahead. So it's very important for science communicator to be comfortable in the language first. Only then they can effectively express, is my belief.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, tell me some information about Nitya Vignana.
Okay, Nitya Vignana is basically a series that is going on for a lot of years, very probably a decade now. It was called Vignana da Munnade before, and now it's called Nitya.
Maybe some network. Maybe some network problem. Ma'am will join. Give 2 minutes.
Meanwhile, I have information to all the listeners. Today at 6:18 p.m. evening, people can watch with naked eye International Space Station, which will move from southwest to northeast. That is one interesting event. Tomorrow, 15th night, Starlinks are going to be launched. Last December 28th, some people have observed space train in the sky over Bangalore and other regions. It is again possible on either 16th or 17th. Generally, immediately after the launch of Starlink satellites, within 2 days, it is possible to see the what you call as a space train or a Starlink train. You can have a opportunity to see it. Today is the last opportunity for watching International Space Station of this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinath sir. Ma'am.
Thank you for that wonderful information, sir. Basically, it's all about, communicating science is not just about spreading information about a particular topic. It's also about creating that scientific temper, having that scientific attitude in our everyday life. So being a part of these astronomical events, it definitely enriches us and make sure we continue our scientific quest and attitude. Thank you for that, Srinath sir. Also, there's a comet that you can be seeing, right?
Comet is spotted today in Bangalore. Our friends have photographed using binoculars and cameras. From
it's a beautiful
today, it is visible early morning. You have to get up 5:30 or 4:30 to 5:30 in the eastern sky below Swati Nakshatra, Boots constellation. There is what you call as Boris, Corona Boris is there on constellation. You can use any sky map. With naked eye, it is not visible. Some sophisticated instrument required, binocular or telescope if you have, you can watch it.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. And I apologize again. I was thrown out of the meet. I'm not sure because of probably a technical issue. Were there any more questions?
Ma'am, Nitya Vignana.
Oh yeah, I was talking about Nitya Vignana. So so that's where a lot of eminent science wizards, science stalwarts of science writing in Kannada, they come over and they explain different concepts in sciences or recent discoveries in sciences in very simple terms. And very interesting presentation as well. So I urge all of you to listen to Nitya Vignana every single day, early in the morning. Okay, it's also available online. You can go to All India Radio's YouTube channel. That's where you can find all the old Nitya Vignana episodes as well, where I am also a part of it, and I'm very thankful and happy to be a part of some. A great way of communicating science through common man to everyone, to all of us. Yeah.
Okay. Deepa ma'am, you like any comments about today's session?
Hello everyone. Shama, it was a really wonderful talk. I really enjoyed it.
Hi Deepa.
Very informative.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Deepa. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yes.
Thank you, Supriyanka. Thank you, Srinath sir.
No, thank you, Deepa, to for joining in.
Yeah.
Dr. Puneet, if you wish to say something, you can few words.
Yeah, it's always nice to be with listening these particular things, Srinath. Only thing which I was wondering was in today's scenario, what we are doing, publishing some of the things, how the government organizations, so many government organizations are doing some things which are overlap also. How do you foresee that that particular thing is censored or cohesively given into the media for a common man? For example, recently we had in our Joshimath, I am from Dehradun, Uttarakhand, sinking of a town wherein Badrinath temple is there, you must be knowing. And some reports have come up now, they have been pulled out because there is a wide gap between the knowledge which the scientists are having and the common man what he wants to understand, vis-a-vis what the economics or the NTPC persons who are having the projects they want to listen to. So how to have a common path or communicating a particular thing which is a fact and it doesn't create any further disputes.
I totally understand, sir, and it's a tightrope walk, definitely. And the science communicator has to be very responsible there, as well as tactful in handling such a situation. So they should definitely not be compromising with respect to science facts. But the way it is presented always makes a difference. So again, based on the audience, they should ensure that they're not offending anyone, but ensure they do present the scientific facts intact. So as I told, it's a tightrope walk. The science communicator plays a very important role there.
I think just to add one comment for Dr. Puneet sir, there is an initiative in US last year called Integrity of Science Communication. There is a 64-page document published by the US Science Congress on such kind of dealing such kind of matters for mispropagation or wrong communication. So I think if you see yesterday's Hindu report, they have asked all ISRO scientists and other NGRI, all earth science people not to say anything about Joshimath. Whereas something is going on like that. So India, we are lacking that kind of a central agency where such facts can be controlled or regulated or authorized. I don't know. I mean, if I'm wrong, but I have read one document by the US on integrity of science communication.
Okay, I've joined the WhatsApp group of this Creative today. You can share there. We'll,
Sure.
Thank you.
There is definitely a need of such an authority, but again, it should be not biased, right? The bias has to be ensured is not a part of it. Authenticity and science has to take the limelight here. That's it.
Okay.
Akash, if you want to say something.
No, Srinath, I have no further points to add. Thank you.
Okay. I hope everyone got the answers for their questions.
Supriya Madam, good evening.
I'm
Ramesh.
Sir, namaste, sir.
ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್. ಹಾಫ್ ವೇ ಥ್ರೂ ಐ ಜಾಯಿಂಡ್. ಪಿಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಹರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಶಮಾ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಹರ್. ಯು ಗೇವ್ ಮಿ ದ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಟು ಲಿಸನ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಶ್ರೀನಾಥ್ ಸರ್ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದೆ. It was a very good presentation. Shama madam, I am from Karnataka Science and Technology Academy. You may be aware of KSTA.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. I worked in few projects with you, and I mean with the KSTA, sir. Thank you so much. Tumba
You are a good science communicator. We have a good, beautiful images at GKVK campus. We keep organizing science communication workshops for students and teaching faculty. We'll be inviting you for presentation. Thank you very much.
And recently attend madak bandide Kollegala Sharma sir avar jote. So
okay. Our jote Vigyan Prasad Kutuvali program regular agi.
Haudu.
Thank you. In fact, Nitya Vijnana is supported by our own department. Karnataka Science and Technology Promotion Society. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. It is doing well. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. People like you are well. I'm sure.
Thank you. In fact, ಹಾವೇರಿ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಸಮ್ಮೇಳನದಲ್ಲೂ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ನಿತ್ಯ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಬಹಳ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನ ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ದು.
I think you should mention Sumangala S. Mommagetti, who is doing some background work. Maybe we should appreciate people like.
Absolutely. She is doing great work.
Thanks, madam. Thanks, Srinath sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. From Pilikula Regional Science Center, who is joined. If any comments for about today's class, you can.
Good evening, madam.
Rao sir, namaste.
Namaste, madam. Jagannatha, curator, madam, from Pilikula Regional Science Center. Session was very informative, especially for our science center. It is very useful. So your session was very informative, madam.
Thank you, sir. Tumba santosh aitu. Thank you. I basically was told that it is for a lot of students, college students. So my presentation was intending to reach student audiences. But thank you. I'm happy that you felt it is informative.
So ತುಂಬಾ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಿಲಿಕುಲ ಪ್ರಾದೇಶಿಕ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೇಂದ್ರಕ್ಕೂ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆಹ್ವಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಬರಬೇಕು.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Wonderful session.
Thank you, Jagannath, for your feedback.
Yes, thank you, sir. Srinath sir.
Okay. Ma'am, lot of students are there, but they are not talking today. That's it. I told it's a hetero group.
True. You may share my mail ID with them if they want to get in touch with me related to this. They may always email me as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Okay, shall we wind up here, ma'am? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and taking your time here, spending your time here. Thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure, and I'm very thankful, and I would love to talk about science or talk about science communication any day, anytime. To it's definitely my passion, so I'm very happy that you gave me an opportunity to reach all of that.
Srinivas KR, sir.
Hello. Namaste, ma'am. This is Srinivas here.
Namaste, sir.
Ma'am, I hope you remember me.
Of course.
It was really good, ma'am. It was really nice. It was I definitely wanted to write about science when it comes to, I mean, like, ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಬಟ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So what are the things, what are the tools which we are supposed to ಯೂಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಂಗೆ ಇದಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ್ಲೂ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದು ಎಲ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಅದೇನೆ, ನಂಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ನಂಗೆ ಅನ್ಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ದಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಸೇ, ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, you start reading. You read, write and repeat, and start learning more about it, and do not think about nan express ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ರೀತಿ ಸರಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ. First get started, and once you get started, edit ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, and of course authenticity check ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, information collect ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ. This is what I usually share with them, and a lot of students after the seminars, they have tried, they have written, and few of their articles are already published in a lot of science magazines and newspapers, and they've always come back to me and told, "Neev helidakke nan shuru madde, and it is going places now anta." So I'm very happy that. So hage sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for all the participants for staying with us. Thank you, one and all. We are closing here.